I'm Denise Hansard, an ex-corporate girl turned CEO working with women on transformation for what's next in life. Why me? Been there, done that. So many times in my life, I've had to step into my own what's next, from moving from city to city for work to moving out of corporate into where I am today. This What's Next program is all about you, turning your dream life into your real life. So come with me. Let's see what's next for you. Hello, everyone. This is Denise Hansard. I'm your life architect and intuitive geek. And this is part of the What's Next playlist. And I had an idea to where I interview a lot of women on what's next in their life. And I decided that I wanted someone to interview me. So I got my good friend Isabelle here to interview me. And by the way, she is in Paris at this time, right, Isabelle? Yeah.
Yes, I'm in France. I'm actually in the south of France right now, but I was in Paris last week.
Oh my God. And we did not know that we were going to wear red. So this is how connected we are.
Yes.
So
So,
I'm going to turn it over to Isabelle. And Isabelle, would you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
sure, I'm so happy to be with you on this conversation together. Actually, it's interesting because I do in some way something we have similarities in the work we do. I help leaders and professionals or in general in their mid careers. So men and women and everybody who are often unfulfilled in their work and want to do something really meaningful. And I support them in finding out what is the next most purposeful career and what is the work they are here to do. So I tend to help that, but often there is a lot of what's next. It's often more what's next in my career and also how they can step in the next level of leadership. So uncover the next level of leadership aligned with their talents and passions. So it's a little bit about me.
I love that. And by the way, guys, I will put Isabel's information on how you connect with her down below in the description. So just,
Thank you.
you're
Yes, and
welcome.
I'm so curious now to hear about more about you. I know a little bit about you, but I can't wait to hear more, in particular about why now you work with What's Next for Women, and I'm curious why and how did you step into what you do today?
Yeah. Oh,
Share
thank
about
you.
your stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love to tell stories, so thank you for that. My story is one of probably not unlike many women out there, where you're in a corporate position, which I was in corporate for 20 years, using my strategic mind. I do have a master's in counseling, which I was using before. And then I got into corporate and I started using my strategic mind because I became a certified pricing professional.
Mm,
And at the same time, I was also using my master's in counseling at the same time because I was helping the sales team to value themselves, to go ask for the price increases that my department, had asked for them to go do. So
wow,
that's
interesting.
still, yeah, the heart and the head with everything.
I love
Um,
the combination of counseling and pricing and sales.
you know what? Your journey in life always brings it together. You just got to be open for it. And I was. And after 20 years, I was really feeling uncomfortable. I just wasn't enjoying being in the corporate world. And how it showed up in my life was I was jumping from position to position and from company to company. And that's when I was kind of getting that feeling of, oh, this is not good. And it was like with the last company I was with, I even went into it realizing that it wasn't going to last that long. I just had that gut feeling, I do claim to be intuitive. I know for myself, even my intuitive feelings, and I really touch into those, but I knew. And the question I had for myself was, well, how long will this last? And but I put my whole heart into it because I always want to give everything that I can. And it took about 8 to 9 months before the universe said, hey, Denise, we're going to give you an opportunity to change your life because I wasn't happy. I was so not happy. And the company was making changes as they typically always do. It doesn't matter where you are in your career, companies are always going to change. And I remember the day my boss came in to my office sat down at the end of the day, which is never a good thing,
Mhm.
to have a one-on-one meeting. And basically, he said, Denise, I've got to let you and your whole department go.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was at that moment I sat there and I looked at him and I could feel the emotions coming up. I could feel the tears burning behind my eyes, but I wasn't going to go there. And all of a sudden, it was kind of like a feeling that washed over me of gratitude. And I
Mm.
looked at him and I said, thank you. I said, thank
Mm.
you, because this is a blessing in disguise.
Wow, I'm really impressed that felt it in the moment,
Yeah.
because it's sometimes we see it after the fact, but you
Yes.
actually in the moment you can actually feel that there was a blessing for you in terms of your journey.
Yeah, and this is how, I mean, I've known all my life that I've been intuitive and just knowing and feeling things. And as
Mhm.
I've gotten more into my journey in life, I've opened up to that. And so I accept what comes through to me and I
Mm.
act on it. And this was just like coming through without me knowing. And of
Wow.
course, my boss was ready for my tears, but not for my acceptance. And I got to tell you, it scared him to death. He literally jumped out of the chair, almost tripping over himself trying to get out the door. And he said, go see HR. And I was like,
Wow.
okay.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that reaction.
No, no. But that was the impetus for me to step into something new. And of
Mm.
course, I did. I went through the emotional aspect of losing an identity that I'd had for 20 years.
Mm.
That I wasn't exactly sure what to do next for myself. And so I sat back and I allowed my grief, I allowed that to go through myself. I did start interviewing for other positions in pricing and was getting those interviews, but my heart kept going. "Ugh." It was just like, "Ugh, I don't want this." And so on the other side of my brain, that creative side with everything, I thought, Denise, when when you were the happiest, what were you doing? And I can remember getting my master's in counseling and working with people to help them grow. And I
Mm.
thought, oh my God, that's what I want to do. And I
Mm.
thought, well, do I go back and get my PhD and become a psychiatrist? And I thought, no, don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I just opened up and started Googling, started doing a search. It was almost like I was asking the universe, okay, you put me here. What do you want me to do? And life coaching came up.
Mm.
And I literally stepped into one program to realize it wasn't the right program for me, asked for a refund because I went to the next program that was aligned with me. I could feel it. And I
Mm.
became a certified life coach. Um, and I have worked mainly with women
Mhm.
and really it can be in their career, it can be as an entrepreneur. It's really that transitional moment that they recognize there's more to my life that I really want, but I don't know how to get there. I've
Mhm.
also done that for men, and I've had some of the greatest testimonials from men, that have worked with me, but I work mostly with women in that aspect. And I've been doing it for, oh, wow, March of 2024 will be 11 years. So I've stepped
Mhm.
into it and really love it. And as I have grown myself, my coaching has grown with it. Because the better I become in my own journey with everything, the more I can give to other women to help them to grow at the same time. Um,
Mm.
and I've been a professional speaker. I still speak. I'm a motivational speaker. I love that. That's why I have this YouTube channel so that I can connect with everyone. But that was kind of my journey, being open to understanding my feelings and recognizing that there was something more for me, understanding that my voice, the universe was talking to me and telling me in many different ways that there's more that I can be doing.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, has it been a journey? Absolutely. It
I
has.
love what you are sharing because in so many ways, I love how because you've been through the journey yourself, both the intuitive knowing, but also the grief, because I'm sure, when we go through that, there is a lot of grief and you've really been through the journey. So you can be there for women who are going through the same journey of grief and not knowing what's next and trying out and being kind of lost at time, and but knowing there is something else. So I
Yeah.
love that I'm sure you bring so much of that in the work you do with the women you work with.
Yeah, it's one of those aspects, Isabel, when I look at everything, um, and the women that I work with who really feel aligned and can work with me. It's one of those that I've been there, I've done that, you know? And what I
Mhm,
recognized even in being let go, um, that essence of myself, that career really defined who I was. That was my identity. I threw myself into my work. I was traveling internationally 50% of the time because I had
mhm,
international responsibility. And I loved it, and yet it was extremely exhausting. It wasn't, what I found was I wasn't broken. I was just off course.
mhm,
That's why I allowed my intuition to kind of come in, not really knowing it at the time that it was, but feeling it and
mhm,
understanding that there was something else for me to do. It was like this journey in life that I've always been on.
mhm,
I'm a pretty positive person. I'm happy, and yet I've gone through some of the most devastating things in my life that a lot of people, I hope they never have to experience. And I
mhm.
made it through
Yeah.
because I knew that I could, but yet I had to course correct. I had to pivot. I had to move in a different direction with
I
everything.
love what you said about when you said uh, I was not broken, I was of course.
Yes.
I think this is probably so helpful for the women who are listening to you, because when we are in this situation, we may think, oh, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
Something is missing or something is not enough. When you share so well that it's not about that, is because there is
Mhm.
something else that needs to emerge that is more in alignment with who you are. So it's such a message of hope for the women and the men listening to you right now.
Exactly. And thank you for summarizing that. That was so well said.
I love
I
doing.
love that.
By the way, I won't go into my own story, but I had a very similar story. I was actually laid off. What had me change? I work in the corporate world and I was laid off, and it's what was the impetus for me to start my next
Really?
career. So it's just so interesting. We were red and we also have a similar journey. So I love it.
This is
That's
why we're talking.
Yes, I love it. That's great. Um, Let me ask you, before we go into, I want to ask you what's next for you right now. But before we go into that, I want to check, is there anything else you want to share about the women you love working with? If there is, I know you share a little bit about that. Anything else, the women where you like, oh yeah, I'm here to support you in this world. Anything
Yeah.
else you want to say
Yeah.
about them?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. The women that I support and assist are women who, like I said, they recognize that they're not broken.
Mhm,
As a matter of fact, if you see them in the world, you're like, oh, I want to be her. They're
mhm,
confident, they're strong, they display this energy of, you know what, it's good, I'm all good. And yet
mhm,
inside, they have this little, what I call just a little niggling feeling of,
mhm,
I don't know what I'm doing. I really am not sure. I doubt myself. Um, I don't find that I have the support that I need. And yet, what they do is they never show that. And so it
mhm,
could be in any transformation in life. And it's again, they're not broken. And
mhm.
they're going to show themselves as being someone who is confident, strong, happy, but yet inside there's just that one little thing that they would like to address. And so
Mhm,
that is what it is. I help women in the career or after their career or whatever to kind of shift from a feeling of uncertainty and doubt, and yes, not enoughness, because we women all kind of have that,
mhm,
into giving them simple, simple tools to make that course correction, just like
mhm,
I did. Because when you choose you all the time,
mhm.
you shift and you change and you become that,
Yeah.
what I call is authentic, Authenticity. You.
Authenticity.
You.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that what you share about these women who are not, um, on the outside, like they are all together and confident, but inside, oh, there is this nagging feeling. So if you are listening, you may feel, oh yeah, that's me. I love that you are supporting this woman. That's really wonderful.
Yes. Thank you.
So now I'm really curious about what's next for you because you are, yeah, what's coming next in your life, in your work?
Yeah, well, I've kind of already stepped into it. I think most of my listeners or ones who really know me understand that I am not somebody who is afraid of change. I love change. As a
Mhm,
matter of fact, I embrace change and do it all the time. And
mhm,
I'm still afraid to do it, but yet I step into it anyway. There has been a moment in my life, in my career, when the pandemic hit back in 2020 and the world shut down. I was living in Chicago. And my mom was not handling the pandemic very well. She had health issues, but she was lonely in her spirit. And I'm the one out of all of us kids, there's four of us, that
mhm,
had the ability to work from anywhere that I was. And so I stepped up and I said, you know what, I'll move home and help mom out.
mhm,
And with the intent that helping her to get past all of this and then move back, just to kind of start my life over again. And of course, the journey that I was on didn't allow it that way. And I was with her for 5 months and she passed away.
mhm,
And so it was in that moment of, again, resetting, allowing my grief to come through. I moved to this beautiful place, which is in the mountains of Western North Carolina,
mhm,
and to heal and to decide again what is next for me. Now,
mhm,
all that time I was still coaching and still love my coaching and still doing it now and absolutely adore it. And yet there was that niggling inside of me, just like the women that I work with, of what more can I do? And so I tapped into a dream that I've had all of my life. All my life, I've kind of been a storyteller. My mom used to tease me and she'd say, Denise, are you telling a story or is that a lie? And I go, no, Mama, it's a story. Because I would have these wild stories. And I've always loved that. And I wanted to write my stories. And not my stories, just the stories I had inside of me, the fictional ones that I made up.
mhm,
And so having that opportunity to grieve and to also get my grief out on paper, um, I decided to start writing a novel, a fictional novel, a women's fictional novel. And that was in 2021. And I am just in the final editing stages of my novel, 300 and something pages,
wow,
to be written and ready to send off to an agent and find an agent with that. Now,
wow,
that's my what's next for later in life. I'm kind of building it right now because obviously this one wrote itself so easily. And then I have another sequel to it with another sequel. So it's a trilogy. It's already writing in my head. And yet at the same time, I'm helping other women to step into what's next in this moment for themselves, whether in their career, in their life, after retirement, not giving up after retirement, stepping into what do I do? Because what
mhm,
I realized was when I got let go from corporate, the fear of not knowing what to do was huge. And so in that process and through the 10 to almost 11 years of going through another journey, creating my What's Next programs, um, really came about from that because losing an identity, not knowing how I was going to get that sense of self back. That's what happens sometimes when women decide to step out of corporate, whether if it's from, I can't do this anymore, or I have to take care of elderly parents, or I've retired. And yet they know their life is not over. It's about how to move them into that, just like I've done. I
mhm.
coach because I know what I'm doing, because I've been there, like I said, done that.
Yeah.
And so for me, my coaching is working with women into what's next in their life, whether it's a program, coaching program, a master class, or even a retreat, and then doing it myself on the side because as I feel it in my bones. I just know that my books are going to be published, and I'm going to step into that. And then my coaching, I'm still going to coach, but it's going to shift and change just a little bit, and we'll see how that comes up. So
Beautiful. It's so I'm so inspired. I'm sure the women who are listening are inspired too. I'm just very inspired by your story, and thank you for being so open
mm,
and about your story, including the grief with your mom. I'm sorry that that has happened to you, and
thank you.
it's so, yeah, especially losing a parent, especially when you were expecting, not expecting it maybe as early as
Yeah,
that. It might be heartbreaking. And
yeah.
how you've been, and I just love how you're also talking about the grief, not
Mhm.
bypassing the grief, and how, because in all our life we have, I think the grief lead us to what's next, the grief of identity that you talk about, the grief of your, with your mother, and being with that as you are creating what's next, and you are such a living example of that. So I just so blessed to have heard more about your story right now. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm curious, as we are maybe ending this conversation, do you have a piece of wisdom, or for the women if who are listening, who are like, yeah, I don't know, what about me? They might be very inspired by you, but they're like, but yeah, but she did so many, but I don't know if I can do the same, or they might be scared. What do you have a piece of wisdom for them?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that I've always taught through my coaching is that your transformation in life is a journey. You didn't get to where you are overnight, and you're not going to change overnight. So it's about embracing the journey that you have within you, being open to it,
Mhm.
and seeking help, reaching out to others, whether it's a mentor, a coach, a friend, or a loved one, it does not matter. That's going to help you to get into that next process and stage of your life. So
Hmm.
embrace the change, step
Yeah,
into it, and know
I,
you're
lo-
not alone.
I love it. That's beautiful. And if the woman wants to reach out, I know they already know a bit how to reach out. Any other ways women can reach out to you if they want to connect more? What would be the best ways to do
I,
that?
you know what? The best way, send me an email is fine. Denise at denisehansard.com. It's down in the description below, along with a link to have a conversation with me, which
Mhm.
would love to help women to do that, just to find that clarity and to go from there. So just connect in any way. If you type in Denise Hansard, you're going to find me. And that's it.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I think the women who are listening again are really blessed that
Uh,
you are here on that journey. I'm sure some women are resonating with you. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to ask you a question and learn more about you. I feel really inspired. And
uh, and thank you, Isabel. I know when I put this out there in our group, because that's how we met, was in a group, because I have a coach, Isabel has a coach, we all have coaches. Coaches need coaches because we want to get better for you. I knew when you stepped up and said, I'll do that, I thought, oh my God, this is beautiful. And of course, life took its turns and the journey came because now is the right time for this to happen. So thank you very much. And to everyone out there, thanks for joining in on this conversation. If you want to talk with Isabel, her information is going to be down below, along with my information. And don't be afraid to step into your what's next, because life is that journey and it's beautiful. And we all want to be able to have the clarity to make those decisions to just keep living life to its fullest. So until next time, we'll see you later.